handful of presenters, a mass of microphones, and a whole load of talk. This is TigerTails Radio.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another delightful, delectable, and otherwise entertaining episode of TigerTails Radio. I'm your host, TK, and with me we have Xavier.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I am doing wonderfully. Now, despite what it says on the YouTube feed, this is in fact episode 50. So,
Yes.
I need to go and make an edit. Shush! I thought I was ready and all set up. Apparently I was wrong. I missed one very crucial tiny detail. So if you will excuse me, I will be back in just a moment. So talk amongst yourself.
Yes, thanks, TK. So yes, this is TigerTails Radio. We are back yet again for more. Oh my god, how much can we break in this show? We will have news of the week. We will have our reviews of the week. We will also have a little bit of done and dusted, maybe. Hopefully some quick flash if TK has the equipment set up. At this point in time, probably not. And we'll probably have TK at least headbutting the mic at least one
I didn't
more time.
headbutt the mic. It's fine. Might have twatted myself in the face with a pair of headphones, but I didn't headbutt the mic. So it's all good. It's all gravy.
Yeah, the world's not ended quite yet.
Not
So
yet.
yes, it's only a few more episodes before we end, and on top of that, we also get our holiday, which is like, oh, thank God.
Yay, holiday!
Holiday in July.
Yay, July holiday. I can't wait.
If it's sunny, I won't mind because train trips and stuff, and if it's not sunny, I won't mind.
There's arcade and train trips
Yeah,
and stuff.
well, train trips and stuff, because both of the trips we're planning will mostly be in the technical called indoors.
Well, we'll be on a train for some of it. There'll be some walking around. You've got a boat trip as well.
Yes. The technically called indoors.
Yeah, I suppose. And then
Not
there's
actually
otters to
indoors.
look at.
Yes.
And I've got
And there'll
trains
be
to look at.
pictures.
Yay.
And there'll be much pictures.
There will be many pictures. And much video footage.
Yes, all good fun.
And I'll have to take my laptop. So that every night the cards can just be emptied onto the laptop.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna take mine, because whilst I want to do writing, I also want to just like have a bit of relaxing time.
Oh yeah, my
And-
laptop will be there for the
Yeah.
clearing of the memory cards, so I can use them the next day. It's just going to be
Yeah.
a storage device.
A convenient £15 storage device that requires mains power to survive. Yes, indeed.
No, it can survive by itself for at least 5 hours, but just on battery.
So they tell us.
No, mine does. I've
Oh,
got-
does it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought yours was at that point where it's a case of you have 5 hours left, and then after 10 minutes you have half an hour left.
No, mine is still relatively new, and therefore the battery hasn't fucked itself to that point yet. And so it's still being reasonably honest with me.
Your laptop is reasonably honest.
Reasonably, yeah. I don't know how I don't know how trustworthy it is, but it's currently it's lasted 5 hours on a single charge before. So, and it still said there was about half an hour or so of battery remaining. So,
Not too
yeah, I'm
bad.
intending to believe it. But, did you advertise, by the way?
No, I completely forgot that one. I was
See,
ready
not
to-
just me who forgets things.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Yes, all right.
The winner is me.
Well, not really, because basically we've both won failure. We've both won.
Yay,
at
failure! I am the champion at failure. Wait.
Yeah, we should be in British politics. We should.
Yeah. Or playing
Yeah,
for an
well-
England cricket team, one of the two.
Well, we can't say that anymore because the England cricket team do well.
Only in certain types of match. They kind of suck at 2020.
2020 is a different beast. I really like 2020
It's a good
because
sport.
it's really quick and I enjoy playing it. And it was a case of everyone had a turn at batting, everyone had a turn at bowling,
And it was literally a
except
case
those
of
who bowl.
hit a ball as hard as you can.
Yeah,
Which it isn't in normal cricket. Normal cricket's all about doing it right and shit. And 2020 is just about twatting it.
yes.
This isn't a cricket bat anymore, it's a baseball bat. Let's get some rounders.
Yeah, if ever you actually had to learn cricket at school, it was potentially the most boring thing in the world because, okay, I'm a fielder. Where are you going to be? Outfield. What are you going to do? Stand around.
I'm going to do as little as humanly possible. And I'm going to be on the opposite side to everyone else, because unless somebody's left-handed, I'm never going to see this ball. That was my trick. And it worked, because nobody was left-handed that played in the batting.
Occasionally I would get the odd one going my way and everyone's like, catch it, and I'd look at them go, you do realise he's hit it for 6. Even me with my limited grasp of physics can understand this.
Well,
Please,
there was
people.
one point when we had to play indoors, and so we had all the soft stuff out in the big hall in Testwood. And it wasn't cricket, it was a roundedy type thing.
Quick cricket, where you would kick the ball, hit the ball with a bat, do whatever with a soft football in order
No,
to
it was
then
it
run
was
between
normal
two
like
things.
ball size, like tennis ball size,
Oh, okay.
but it was a softer ball, and I think it was like rounded or something, and that kind of developed like a mini diamond in the main assembly hall. And I was fielding, and someone twatted it right at me, but well too high, and it bounced off the wall. And at that point, I thought, oh, fuck it. I'll just catch it because, you know, it's hit the wall, whatever, so it's obviously out of play, technically.
Yeah.
And as it was getting closer, I'd heard these voices going, catch it! And I was going, why? It's not important. Caught the thing. Everyone was, like, fucking cheering and yelling, and apparently it was a really, really important catch. And I was just completely oblivious to it. But, yeah, somebody was out, and apparently that was important for some reason I wasn't paying attention to.
Welcome to schoolyard team players.
And everyone was like running up, you know, like all the football celebrations, they run up and hug you and shit, and it was like, what'd I do? I just caught a ball. It's not that special.
Guys, stop
Kind
touching
of
guys.
annoyed I had to do efforts. Going
Well,
on.
we had quick cricket, so we had the football, kick it, softball kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
And because there was the nets that were up for when it was proper cricket that never got used.
Yep.
Ever since I was there. Someone managed to get the ball up into one of them
Oh nice.
and they stopped running. It was like, no, keep running.
Keep running.
Keep running. Just till they eventually knock it down and catch it. So therefore you're out. Keep running because the runs still count. I think we won that one by the 100.
I'm not surprised really. It's like, keep running. I can't. Just kill me.
Yeah, it was at the point where the guy was a case of, seriously, this isn't fun. Fun has stopped.
This is now effort.
Yeah.
Fun was a while ago. Now this is labour.
It was fun when I hit the ball. Now I am just doing exercise. Come on.
Now I'm having to actually follow up on this. It's no longer as enjoyable as it was. I'm not having fun anymore. Please stop
Yep.
this. Somebody, you take over. You run for me. You are my designated running person with legs.
We had that as well. We had designated runner. That was the weirdest random side rule ever. Because this person can't run, he'll hit the ball and someone else will run for him. To which I always go, okay.
So I remember when we were playing the equivalent of 2020 we played in Testwood. And I was batting and I tried to do a nice good one and was doing me runs, and I was about halfway to finishing a run to basically take return of batting, and someone in the fielding threw the ball aiming at the stumps, and so I just kind of kamikaze leapt and beat the ball, but my stick thing, whatever you call that,
The
twat-
bat.
that's the word, yeah. Went flying into the stumps before the ball did. But the teacher was like, you should be out. But that was really impressive, so fuck it, I'll let you carry on. Okay, he didn't say fuck, but he said, you should be out, but that was impressive, so I'll let you carry on. He was like, oh, sweet. It was like, you beat the ball to the stumps, so that's the important bit.
The awesome teacher. Always good.
Yeah, it's nice to get them every now and again.
Yes, it is. So yes, this is TigerTails Radio. This is Season 9, Episode 50. 50,
5-0, yes. Only
And-
this show 51, and then show 52 left, and we are done for the season.
Yes, we will be having our rest and we'll be putting all our toys away.
And we'll be
And
blowing
we
the
won't be
dust off the
throwing
mixer.
yeah, we won't be throwing our toys out of the pram, unlike
Quite so
some
much. Oi! Oh, you fucking thing. It's playing up on me, hang on.
Meanwhile, TK's equipment is dying.
The minute I mentioned dust. Fuck's sake. That was all gone weird. There we go. There's that.
What we will start on, because we've only got a few, so this is probably going to be a lot of filler.
What do you mean filler?
It's TigerTails Radio. It's near the end of a season. What do? We fill the last few episodes because we're tired. And it's summer.
Yeah, it is summer. It's very warm.
when-
I will give it that.
We sat in the front room, which was your bedroom, because reasons, and it was sunny outside, and we just put on the most chilled out music we possibly could. I went, yeah, I'm tired. We're just going to be tired at you on the radio.
Yes. I remember those days. What is going on with this mixer?
Meanwhile, TK is just having a fit. So, so review of the week. This is where we chat about our week, because typically this was where me and TK had our weekend.
Yeah, and now our weekends have shifted to normal times.
Yeah, normal week. We're like in an office and shit. And
I know.
everything's, like,
They trust me in an office. It's the weirdest thing.
They trust you with financial advice, TK. That's
No,
the
they
scary-
don't. We're not allowed to give financial advice. we're merely doing the biddings of the customers.
Oh, give it time.
It's the
So,
financial
yes.
advisors who are giving advice. That's hence their name, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of a clue there.
My weekend was mostly quiet because there was nothing major on this weekend whatsoever. It was Alex had his fighting tournament earlier,
Yep.
so
Yeah.
all the fun finished.
There was another tournament in America that wasn't Pokken related, that Alex didn't go to, obviously.
Yes.
And it was more victories for Sonic Fox in Mortal Kombat. And I think he also won Injustice as well.
Although Alex is starting to talk about Skullgirls again, so I'm guessing the
Yeah.
annual fighting convention is coming up, whichever name is that.
Evo.
I'm not entirely sure. That's the one.
Evo's coming up, yeah. Whether or not
so-
Alex will go to Evo is another story, but...
In interesting news, I had my health check, which
Oh,
is one
really?
of the things
Hang
that
on.
we have to...
Put yourself through.
Thank you. It's one of these things that we can have for free because we have health insurance. Advertise the product.
Yeah.
It's really cool because it means you can figure out your numbers and stat,
Yeah.
and you can figure out how depressed you're going to be over certain things like weight, cholesterol, TK pushing buttons like a mofo.
Yeah, they can't hear that, though. Only you can hear that, because you can hear the resounding thunk.
It's like
the
a
compressor.
tiny elephant.
The compressor cuts out those thunks because they're not quite loud enough to trigger on the mic. So
It's
that was me
tiny
hitting the
elephant.
mic just there that they didn't hear, but
Yeah.
you probably did.
They're missing TK flailing around. Yeah, that's the one. And we did the numbers, so it's a case of here's your numbers for your cholesterol, your check on diabetes and things like that, blood sugar.
yeah.
That's the one.
Yep.
Actually important stuff, which considering
the
you
healthy
you
shit.
get these, you get this stuff for free because I'm at work because
Yeah.
I'm part of this, is awesome. The downside is whilst my numbers are good because I've got better blood pressure, better overall numbers for cholesterol and blood sugar, my good cholesterol is down and my BMI is up
Ah,
from what it was the last time. And I worked out that I'm now 15 stone 11 pounds, 15 stone 12,
yeah.
which seeing as I was quite happy with 14 is a little bit depressing. So I've gone, no, I need to figure out
Diet, exercise.
rescheduling. Diet I'm not too worried about because it's not the food that's getting me.
It's the lack
Really?
of exercise.
Yeah, I'm sat at a desk for 8 hours a day.
The sedentary lifestyle.
Yeah, and I'm not walking as much as I used to. I'm not running as much as I used to, which I need to change. So
Fuck
I'm
running.
throwing in. Yeah, that's for you, TK. You can get on your bike and ride.
Yes, fuck running.
Yes.
I'd like to be running while sat down. That's cycling.
But seeing as whilst there are gyms nearby, it's one of those ridiculous will get you to pay a year's fee or something.
And then you never go.
Yeah, I never go. That's the big problem. So whilst I may indeed go down swimming, because Julia's a member down there and it means discount swimming for her,
Hey.
and I can go along and get the swimming as well, I need to get back into the running. So that's what I've now planned for this week and going forward, because I just need to. It's not a case of I can get away with it. It's a case of
No, you
I
need to.
need to.
Your health dictates it.
Well,
So
my
are you
cholesterol
treadmill
is
running
still-
or actually going outside running?
going outside running because it's Bournemouth and I can get in half an hour.
At work. And come back all sweaty.
well, before work and then have a shower. And then on some days I can even get an hour in because I'll be able to just go out before I actually start work and just get a whole hour in.
There.
Which would be really good.
In the rain.
Yeah, I know I've done that before, but I need to make it consistent because if I don't run and start doing stuff to get my weight down, I can do stuff to get my cholesterol down because that is eating right.
Yeah.
If I don't do stuff to get my weight down, I'm not going to be having the best of lifestyles going forward because with me being in an office environment and I'm not doing as much as I used to, because I used to go cycling with you guys and stuff as well.
Yep. We used to venture into the forest and shit. Those were the good
all
days.
the bugs. All of the bugs.
All of the punctures.
If I don't do that, then I'm more than likely going to see the next time being into the 16 stone, and that's going to be not what I want. Because I don't really want to be overweight. I wouldn't mind being...
well, what do you think your target weight should be?
I want to get back down to 14 stone and a waist size that is in shops.
Down to 14 stone, it says. Fucking hell. I can't even
Well,
get up to
apparently-
13 and maintain it, let alone 14.
Well, yeah, this is the thing. But yeah, it's just to make sure I can actually buy trousers that are in my size. Because I'm an awkward body shape anyway.
Yeah.
Yay! And it gets worse because it's like you don't get any taller or shorter
No.
at all. All that happens
Unless you get
is
the
that you
shrinks.
end up getting your waist wider, and the shops go, "Oh yes, but we won't stock your size."
Because you're abnormal.
Yes, apparently I am, according to shop sizes.
Well, apparently my leg to crotch ratio must be off. Because I can find trousers that fit me around the waist fine, and fit me in the leg fine. But the crotch area, it's like being castrated. I have to get trousers about 3 times too large, and so held up with all of the belts in order to find a crotch size that doesn't strangulate the poor chaps down there.
Yeah, it is weird the way they do body shapes because that's not a traditional measurement bit. That's body shape. It's like having the right size top, but for some reason it doesn't allow you to have big arms.
No, there's no bend and stretch.
Yeah, it's like shirts that go, oh yes, it's perfect for you except around the neck when you close up the button because reasons.
Or shirts that go, we've got a chest size for this. What we haven't accounted for was the waist size, which is a bit larger. And so it fits all lovely at the top half and then bulges at the bottom.
Yes, it's where I'm slowly getting to the point of going, yeah, this fitted malarkey. This really expensive fitted malarkey. I'm liking the sound of that,
Yeah.
even though it's expensive.
And you have to renew it every so often because when your body shape changes, it no longer fits.
Well, it's another reason to actually get onto the old diet and fitness, because if I can get myself to a reasonable weight, I can then change it from looking to sort out weight to looking to actually get body mass in terms of muscle, because then I'd actually have to do things like weightlifting and shit.
And don't forget, the BMI is mostly bullshit.
Well, the BMI is not the best indicator, but it is a good average to use in order to figure certain things out. It won't help figure out muscle index or percentages, but it will help point out where perhaps maybe you should be.
Yeah, but if you're
Losing weight.
if you're 19 stone of brick, shithouse and muscle, it'll tell you you're obese.
Yes,
And it's
but
like,
if I'm 19
that's not strictly true now, is it? There's not a fucking inch of fat on him. He's just
I'm
entirely
the
man muscle.
Yeah, if I'm The Rock, I'm not going to care, because let's be honest, you're The Rock.
I'd care. Your name is Dwayne.
I wouldn't care. Have you seen his exercise routine? That's insane. Anyway, back on topic.
Just P90
I've also planned out writing and other things because I need to make sure I'm doing that regularly as well. So I've jumped on that, and I had my yearly review for work as well, which is always good fun, where it's a case of, hey, here's all the reviews of all your calls that we didn't do until now.
Hey!
Oh, that's nice. But don't worry, we'll start everything back up again in July, but you're going to be on the level that they're going to be on anyway, so just don't fail anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll correct all the behaviours that I should have corrected if I had feedback. But yeah, I'm working on that at work because
I've generally getting very good reviews.
yes,
There was one where I didn't get such a good review because I forgot to leave a policy note, but otherwise it would have been like one of the top tier phone calls of the entire shop floor.
Not
And it's
bad.
like, damn it, should have left a note. Fuck. Yeah, forget one bloody policy, and that's the one that gets called up for review, and it's like,
Yeah.
bullshit.
Well, my only thing is at the moment there's still no active way of encouraging you to do this. It's still very much stick. It's like, oh yes, you've got a thank you from a customer. That's awesome. Why didn't you promote on this call? It's like, because all it is stick. It's not carrot. There's still no carrot. But I fed that back to my current TM, so maybe we'll see how that goes.
Maybe some carrots will arrive.
In terms of outside of work, I've mostly been relaxing. I've got a bunch of DVDs that I've picked up to watch because I've picked up Man of Steel to finally...
DVDs?
Yes, TK, DVDs. It's this
My
thing...
God,
that
what are you in the year 2000s? Jesus, move on. We have Blu-ray now. It's only a
This
couple of
thing
quid
that
more
I-
expensive.
This thing that I put into my PS3 that sat there doing not a
Yeah,
lot.
it's got a Blu-ray player built in. You can go up in quality. You don't have to suffer for that pixelated mess of MPEG 2 anymore. You can go for that higher quality MPEG 2 instead.
But yeah, I've picked up a few of those. I picked up some shorts because I needed to, because we went shopping on the Saturday. And it was a lovely day aside from the fact it was like a little bit in terms of weather in places. And that was the only downside really of the week. It was like, the weather's turned a bit.
Oh.
Yeah. Which was a shame because it was quite good over the rest of the week. The weekend was just,
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
And then I cooked on Sunday, which was nice, and proved that I can still cook.
Always good.
Nice chili. Yep, always good. Still needs a bit more improvement, I feel, because I think need to figure out how to do the spices again, because I just haven't cooked for a while.
Okay.
But that's something I'm going to work on, like on the weekends, to give me something to do.
Yeah.
When I'm down with Jules.
And you're down with us this weekend, coming up.
I am
aren't you?
down with you guys this weekend. Yes, I am down with you guys this weekend, and hopefully we'll be recording something.
Yeah, well, don't
If
forget
TK can-
this weekend is birthday meal weekend. So one of the 2 days,
Yes.
one of the 2 days, I'll be with family.
Okay, as long as you know which one at some point.
No idea. They'll probably know like half an hour beforehand. It's like, by the way, you're free. No. But one thing I did want to say, I'll come back to it when it's my turn for the review of the week. So if you finish up now,
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, aside from, this Nothing at All event that kind of was going on and really will not be in the news at all whatsoever.
no, not for the next fucking millennia to come.
Yeah, aside from that, yeah, all good. So, yes, how was your week, TK?
I think it wasn't so bad. Work has been busy as hell, as per normal, except for Friday, where it was dead, which threw me
Yeah.
completely for a loop because that was the last thing I was expecting it to be.
Yeah, I would be surprised at that as well. But
Friday
then,
was
hey,
actually the best day. Friday was like, I can actually breathe and relax a little bit and make sure I got my shit done. Oh my God, this is the best thing. I like this. More like this, please, work. This has been a good day. I'll have more of these, please. And yeah, because otherwise it's been busy. It's like, oh, okay, now what's going on here? And it's not really the busy season normally, so it's been kind of like, why is everyone doing everything now? Why couldn't they? Okay, a lot of these things they normally leave until the last minute of the tax year, so I'm quite glad they're doing them now because it'll make tax year a lot easier. But it's like, why? Yeah. Everyone's off ill as well, which is annoying. It's like there's
Yeah.
obviously something that went round because it kind of nukes half the floor, and it's like, oh, okay, we're gonna get really busy then. Not because there's more calls, but because there's less of us.
Yeah.
Bother. And
Well, it's
I've
the
noticed
time of
that-
the year when the kids are out. That's why.
well, not yet. They're not. The kids are still in at the moment. But I've
Oh, that's
noticed
a good
that
point.
a lot of these things, like mass managing of people, never have any redundancy to it. They'll always have, right, we're expecting X number of calls, so we'll have X number of people on. But they never factor in that one of those people aren't there, they don't have a backup supply of people. And,
Normally it's very tight.
yeah.
Very, very tight backup plan.
And it's like, you'll be surprised at the difference one person can make. Yes, okay, so can we have another one of them, please? Because you'll be surprised at the amount of difference they'll make. But yeah, that's not really anything in my control. Well,
Yeah.
I can bitch about it a lot. I feel better when I bitch a lot. It's nice. And it's, well, I suppose it's something completely out of everyone's hands, which is the annoying thing. There's only a few people who could actually do anything about it. But they're
The
not.
sick people.
Pardon?
The sick people, they can turn up.
Well, yeah, okay, 2 sets of people that can do something about it. Yeah, okay, good point, well made. Or-
It would work.
Or the guards from fucking Southern Trains. They could actually do their pissing job for a change and actually show up and not go on strike all the time.
Oh, you're having fun with those as well, are you?
Well, not me personally, but their laziness is of course affecting people being able to get in, because people from like Gosport and Havant and all that need to get those trains to get in. And if Southern are being pricks, as per normal, then we don't have as many staff. And normally during the busy morning period, as everyone is then getting taxis or whatever to get in. Or waiting for South West trains, which have an hourly service,
Yeah.
if they're lucky.
My problems have only been cancellation and disruption due to actual disruption.
Yeah,
so,
weather.
Yeah,
Well, washing out
I'll,
parts of the trackbed and things like that.
I'll so far just go, yeah, I'm just glad I'm not having to deal with all of that. Ugh, excuse me.
But on the plus side of work, I've been doing some interesting things as well. Last Thursday, I popped into the library, and we're like, do you have some things about the railways to Southampton? And they were like, I think so. Hang on a sec. And they came back with 2 massive folders full of things. It's like, whoa, okay. Wasn't quite expecting this, but I'm on my lunch break. I'll have a quick browse through. About half an hour later, it was like, wait a second, do I have job? I'm fairly sure I have job. Check the watch. I've got 5 minutes to get back to work in. Close enough. I can make it. One quick jaunt later. Went back on Saturday, and they were like, oh yes, we remember you. You were looking for track plans, weren't you? And I was like, yes. They took me over to the maps desk, which is fucking huge. And then they went, "Boom!" And I was like, oh, sweet Jesus. This map is as tall as I am almost. This is big. Oh, and it folds out. I was like, oh crap, I have massively underestimated this task. Oh boy. And it's like, yeah, this particular one is technical drawings of the network from 1953, I think it is, covering the run from Millbrook to Southampton Central.
Oh, good God.
It took up the entire map table and extra floating off the ends. And the map table wasn't small. And I was going, okay, time to photograph this. Camera goes, nah, bye, click dead. Like, thanks, phone, you useless bastard.
You're allowed to do that?
Yeah, they allow photograph. They allow photography because you can't photocopy it because it's too big for the photocopier and too fragile. So
Wow.
they'll allow you to photograph it instead because it's in the reference section.
Ah.
So- And I was like, next time I'm coming back with a better camera.
Yeah, I saw your post and I'm sat there going, what kind of project is TK undertaking that requires the maps of trains across South England? It's like, okay, I don't want to know now. Like that-
Just passing, well, not passing interest, but I've been interested in the railways of Southampton for quite some time.
yeah.
And so I wanted to actually look at the layouts of them as well. And B, if I can get some decent copies, like photographs and things, nice high detail ones, it could actually be a model railway project.
Oh, I see.
Pick a time period, have the track plan, see if you can find many archive photos from that thing, and try and recreate what it will look like in model format. And
Yeah,
especially
sounds
if we try and get the 1920s, that means we get it before nationalisation. So we'll get all the nice Southern Railways locomotives and carriages, and all the Maunsell coaches going around, which were lovely. And we'll also maybe be able to incorporate the Southampton tram network, which would be
yeah, that was the thing.
yeah, because Southampton Tramways Corporation was around then, and so that would be another interesting element to model. Especially as there is a Southampton Tramways tram at the Critch tram village down in Derby, or up in Derby in our case.
Yeah, back in the day before Dr. Beeching, you know, when the government ran the railways, you know, that thing
before
that's been
then,
proposed before
yeah, they didn't nationalise the railways until about the 1950s. So I'm talking about the 1920s. So I'm talking about when it was still the Big Four.
Wow.
Yeah, and with elements of the London South Western Railway still around.
Oh, sounds like a good week. It sounds like been good weeks, which is actually nice because summer was a little bit of wow.
But on Saturday morning, if we're up in time, I might drag you to the library to assist with the photography.
Thanks, TK.
My pleasure, because it's rather big.
Thanks, TK. So that's it then for the review of the week. Do you want to move swiftly on into news, or do you want to play a bit of music?
I'm gonna play a bit of music, thank you.
Music.
Music. Right, laptop onto lap.
Not Muzak, not elevator Muzak, no.
Oh, yeah, no fun. But no, I thought we'll play a little bit of music. So I managed to find some Fallout 3 music from OC Remix. Which I thought was interesting. And so this one is called. Now I don't know if the character is called Ellie, E-L-I. I've never played Fallout 3, so I don't know if this is going to be any good. But it's by Mazadude and Brenia, whatever, Asagi. Or Agassi, sorry. I can't talk today. I've had a whole day of work. My brain is mush. And they're going to bring all these weird, wonderful things. Please do. That's easy to say. I can say that one. But this is the Fallout of Ellie. Or Eli. Not sure. Hush your mouth.
and a discussion topic. With this segment, Tiger Tales Radio surely spoils you. This is the news of the week.
Yep, this is the news of the week section, and for some reason that jingle only came out from one ear.
Technical difficulties.
Hang on.
Yay! Oh, so this is general geekery, general news that we've found floating around the internet.
Hang on.
And bringing to your delectable ears. TK is pushing buttons.
I'm just trying to convince the jingle to happen in both ears.
TK, it's not like they don't know what the jingle is.
But it should
Come
be in
on.
stereo. I don't know why it's not being in stereo.
Stop being so perfectionist. Seriously.
If you could hear it, you'd understand. It's like a crackly, jargony mess. It's horrible.
If I could hear it, I would still go, stop being perfectionist. We're on the air. Come on, amateur professional radio station. Come on.
I'm saying nothing.
So yes, this is General Geekery. This is where we pull a bunch of news off of the interwebs and bring it to you, our lovely listeners, as we bicker about various bits and pieces. Now, it is in the General Geekery news. The EU referendum happened. I'll be honest, I didn't expect the result. I also did not expect the fallout from educated and reasonable members of the society.
I did. I didn't expect the results, but I did expect the fallout. Because I knew there was going to be a fallout no matter which way it was going to go, because the run-up was so tight.
Oh, yeah. And there's been so much stuff, but there are little bits and pieces in the weekly news that I thought are funny to pull out. So we'll start then with the EU referendum poll petition, online vote to try and get a second EU referendum. This was brought up a lot. It was mentioned by Farage as part of his thing. If it was a close vote, then they would fight for a second vote with exactly the numbers that happened.
Yep.
And it's been
Hang on,
touted
now you're
as
cutting out as well.
yeah.
It's all fucking up. For some reason, these buttons have decided that they don't want to play ball today. So I'm just going to mash things and hope for the best.
Yay! Thanks, TK. I have no idea if anyone can even hear me at this point.
Just keep talking. I can't do things unless you're talking, so keep talking.
So we have this online poll that was put forward to get a second referendum vote because people desperately want to convince themselves that if they do it again, then we'll get a different result. Because definition of madness.
Well,
Yay!
you say that. The second referendum poll thing was actually set up by someone who was on the Brexit side, anticipating a Remain victory, and he is now highly pissed off that it's been hijacked by the Remain side.
Well, you say hijacked by the Remain side.
Well, they were the ones sharing it.
Yeah, they
Not necessarily voting it, but sharing it.
Yeah, they were sharing it, and yeah, it was put online, and people online do things when they get a chance to do online, like write scripts and bots to sign people up for this petition.
People from countries outside of the UK, for instance.
Yeah, the BBC reported on this petition as being one of the fastest petitions that were getting signatures. They reported on the fact that so many people were getting involved, wanting this in. This was the fact-checking of the BBC. Some tech magazine actually took a look at what was going on and started questioning why the Vatican City was voting. People in the Vatican City were voting, or were putting their signatures down. They discovered, strangely enough from 4chan, that wonderful cesspit and hive of villainy, that they had been scripting bots to sign to this petition in multiple numbers.
Even other Twitter feeds of various people, including Sargon of the Card, actually put photos of the script for the bot up to prove it. And it's like, yeah. And then there was a big old news post from some site, I can't remember the name of now, actually showing what went on, and 4chan absolutely falling over itself laughing.
Yes. And it's the sheer fact that the BBC, this paragon of news, along with other news channels, that there are other news channels available, touted this as this being this democratic. Clearly, it's the people demanding another vote, despite the fact it's just a huge, great big troll. And then the BBC decided to report on the fact it's an online troll without referencing any of their previous articles.
Nope.
At all. I saw this morning. I went, hold on, I read your article about, if we don't say anything, it didn't happen. Right. Oh, dear. So, yes.
Quality newscasting.
Yeah, my opinions on the media and politics have not changed in any way, shape or form.
No.
Moving on, we have a lot of AI and robotic news. Well, we have at least two pieces. The first bit of AI news is the news that there is now in use, although the film wasn't the best of things, an artificial intelligence being used to cut and edit film.
Yep. AI directors.
Yeah, an AI director, an actual AI director, not the one that you run around getting zombies chasing after you in Left 4 Dead or Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting concept. The video is a little bit 80s, so that was mostly everyone's comments, but it looked reasonable. Everyone followed the direction of this AI director because it was all done by a live cast.
Yeah.
And the end result wasn't that bad, really. It wasn't that bad at all.
I've not actually seen the end result yet, so that'll be interesting to see.
It isn't that bad. It is very retro-styly, as is pretty much commented by everyone who's seen it.
I have no problem with this.
The sheer fact that an artificial intelligence just analysed what was going on in terms of the script, figured out the mood, what to cut, what filters to use, how the general appearance of it should be. The fact this was entirely done by an AI, it was exceedingly impressive, because this is putting stuff to what normally is a highly creative process. And it's literally just taking the script and going, okay, we will shoot it this way. And it'll be interesting to see, especially with adverts and music videos, if that gets used even more, because it will mean you'll have some very interesting takes based on what the AI perceives rather than director's vision. So it'll be interesting news to see.
Indeed.
We also have, in terms of robotic news, robot dog doing the dishes.
Oh, really?
Yep, someone's actually built a robot dog that can walk around, do the dishes. It slipped on a banana, got up, and went back to doing the dishes.
We need this dog.
No, TK. You need this dog. You need this dog.
Very much so. When can we have it? When's it in stores? I want it now.
But we are now looking at a day and age where indeed the idea of a robot butler is
Getting
even
closer. Come to me, robot butler. Come to me.
I saw that and I was just
It's not politically correct to keep slaves anymore, so a robot butler will be perfect. It'll do the job.
Until the Liberals start fighting for their rights. Yes, indeed.
It's going to be like Detroit all over again. That new game coming out by the people who made Heavy Rain.
Yes, I sense advertisement. Moving swiftly on, this is Warcraft news. Now, the film had a reasonable amount of panning from most critics because they saw it as just yet another tie-in game or tie-in movie with a game. The plot wasn't the easiest things to understand if you weren't a fan of the games.
Yeah, basically, it was a lot of eye candy, and that was about it.
Yeah.
And it got ratings of about as bad as Ratchet and Clank did.
Yeah, but seeing as the entire film was indeed designed to be a film for fans of the genre, or the film and the genre of the game, of the thing, rather than the introductory eye candy for people. Because this took an age.
Which was their mistake.
Yeah.
I think they should have made it more accessible to the general audience, as opposed to kind of war. It was nice for the fans, but the fans aren't enough to make a movie float.
Well, you say that. 10 million subscribers, 12 million subscribers at one point.
Yeah,
but
at one point, not anymore.
the film actually had massive sales in China and has actually managed to get Warcraft to top the list of game-based films.
Haha, in China.
I don't think just in China. I think it's now the highest grossing film, period. It sold more than 378 million tickets around the world. The second highest grossed game-based film is Prince of Persia, which made 336 million in cinemas over 17 weeks. And 205 have been made in China.
Is this all adjusted to inflation?
It's
that's the
a
telling
BBC
point.
article. It's a
Okay.
BBC article, so potentially no. But apparently the film was also popular in Germany, Russia and France, where it made $340 million of its total receipts outside of the US. Angry Birds, another game-based movie, which we've talked about, made $327 million since its release earlier this year.
Whereas Zootopia's topped $1 billion.
Yeah, well, Zootopia is...
Fucking stunning.
that's the one.
Absolutely fucking stunning.
Copyright news, and this is the DMCA and the inevitable artists jumping on to getting copyright laws to be reformed. Those wonderful people who clearly know how copyright laws work: Taylor Swift, U2 and Sir Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
It would just get better if Disney jumped in on this as well. That would be awesome. So they're doing this at the time that the DMCA is being looked at, because currently a lot of companies are looking at renewing their stuff with YouTube. The DMCA has caused issues, although not for the major companies.
No, it's caused issues for normal people who use the company's work under fair use, only to find the major companies are DMCAing it without reason and suffering absolutely no kickback for their illegal DMCAs.
Well, that's the automated system.
No, when they actually manually DMCA something.
Manually, yeah.
And
But
it's
the automated system also does kick in.
No, the content ID things, you can easily negate it by going, actually, no, fuck off. And then YouTube goes, oh, okay, yeah, shit, sorry. Actually, saying that, I put a post up on the TigerTails Radio website recently about copyright and stuff, because a couple of weeks ago we had a song submission come in. We actually had one very recently as well, but I haven't had time to go in and grab it yet. But we had a song submission came in, which I had to reject due to lack of copyright information. And so sent the person away and says, look, get some copyright info on this, or get permission, and we can play it. And so this person did. And so we played it last week. Or week before last, I can't remember which now. And it was a nice piece. And it was called Anthropomorphic. And we played it I think it was last week we played it. And the company in charge of this chap's copyright put a content ID claim on it, as you'd expect.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I see. It's like that, is it? So refuted the claim on YouTube with the evidence. And less than 24 hours later, they revoked the claim.
Ah.
Yeah, it's all up on the TigerTails Radio website. I made a blog post about it. So kudos to them for that. That was the YouTube copyright system in action, working as it should.
Yeah.
As in, hey, we don't recall giving you permission to use this. Oh, it's okay, the original creator did. Oh, okay, that's fine. You carry on. It's like...
Don't mind us. We're moving on.
It's like, yeah, sorry to have disturbed you, sir. We'll move on our way. It's like, thank you very much. Have a good day.
But yeah, this is part of an open letter that more than 180 artists signed, criticising the DMCA. They claim the law benefits companies that exploit music for their financial enrichment. You know,
Oh, okay.
Sony, Warner Brothers, all these.
Well, basically,
companies
anybody
that-
signed up to the MPAA. Yep.
Yep. One journalist said that the music industry was apparently making mischief to get more money from sites such as YouTube, which isn't really the case, but never mind. But at the heart of the letter is apparently that music consumption has skyrocketed, but money earned by writers and artists has plummeted, which is really hard to monitor based on what's going on, because there are a lot of different revenues that artists and musicians have, and there are a lot of reasons why people aren't buying physical copies anymore, or buying too many.
Well, they say that the share they get from streaming sites is so inexorably low that it's virtually impossible to make any money from them.
So
Which-
why are there so many musicians who live off of YouTube sites?
They don't, that's the thing. If you're a small musician who's unsigned, then yep, you can if you get enough hits on YouTube, because you don't have to give it to a publisher.
Yeah.
then you could make a little bit of money.
Oh, it's because publishers get involved and take a percentage.
Yeah.
And agents get involved and take a percentage, like the normal music industry just does anyway.
Mhm. And oddly enough, the more people you have in there digging into the cut, the less of a cut you're going to get. But apparently that's YouTube's fault.
Yeah, because toys and prams, folks. Toys and prams.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is an issue really because they're now attacking the thing that is preventing websites who host material from being sued. Now, there has been a lot of stuff about this, especially if you remember the days of Mega Upload.
Yep.
Social media sites work under the premise that the DMCA is there, especially if they have any financial sides to content creators.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they were then liable for the stuff that their content creators put up, the process of getting stuff up onto sites such as YouTube, Twitter, Facebook would be an extremely long process. Think Nintendo vetting process.
Yeah. Actually, probably longer than that, considering that there's like a day's worth of content gets uploaded to YouTube every minute or something.
Mhm.
It's going to be virtually impossible to manually vet it all.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens because this is coming after the US Federal Appeals Court ruled that Vimeo could not be held responsible for pre-1972 music recordings uploaded to its site by users. So this is another precedent that has now happened that potentially could cause...
Is it 1972 already?
1972 for pre-1972 music.
Yeah, because that's when the copyright expired.
Mhm.
Copyright on music only has a certain lifespan.
Yeah.
Much to Paul McCartney's dismay, because he was worried that once the copyright ran out on some of his 60s stuff, it was going to then be able to be used for porn. Sorry, not Paul McCartney, Cliff Richard. And he was worried, because, he's very kind of Christian and very, very didn't abuse anyone. Yeah, he's worried that his music will be able to be used for the backing tracks of porn, and there's nothing he can legally do about it because the copyright will have expired.
Yeah.
Which would be hilarious. Because just imagine 20 years' time when things like his modern, well, I say his modern hits, his 80s hits, fall out of copyright. And you could just be there watching porn, and suddenly Mistletoe and Wine comes on. It would kill the
No.
mood somewhat, dramatically.
Somewhat.
But it would also be
Yeah.
hilarious.
But yeah, so this is also coming at a time when you've got things like Facebook, who is trying to get its video content sorted out, which currently still is not monetized.
Unless you're
Yay!
one of the special few who actually do get money.
Yeah, unless you're a special snowflake.
But then there's also the way they track their views, which is still bullshit. It's
3 seconds?
3 seconds. And then apparently it's a view. And it's like, yeah, because you can watch so much of a video in 3 seconds. No, you can't. You can watch about 3 seconds worth of it. That's not a whole view.
Yep. Moving on, Activision and Microsoft news. Microsoft was doing a lot of interviews, it seems, this week. They were talking about Rare in terms of Microsoft managing to get hold of, eventually, GoldenEye and Banjo-Kazooie.
Yep.
Developer Rare. They nearly got outbid by Activision.
What, back in the day? Because Microsoft's had Rare for quite some time. Yeah.
Yeah, back in the day. So this is before they acquired them back in 2002. Activision was actively going after them.
Oh, God.
I know. Can you imagine that?
Us
They put in...
Which is the lesser of the two evils there, Microsoft or Activision?
Well, everyone rags in on Microsoft, but if you look at the lifespan that they've had Rare compared to the lifespan of companies under the care of Activision,
Yeah, true.
2002, 2016, admittedly, they're now producing a game, but let's be honest, Duke Nukem, The Last Guardian, enough said.
Yeah. And The Last Guardian's actually good.
The Last Guardian's got a release date.
Yeah, 30th September. Can't wait.
It's like, we don't care if it plays well, we've got a release date.
Oh no, apparently it plays well.
It should do.
From the
yeah.
people who've played the early, because they had at E3, they had like the first part, the first level available to play. And some of the press have played it, and they're like, holy shit, this game is amazing.
By some of the press have played it, I mean, everyone ran to that corner of E3, and there was then an hour of infighting.
And
And
then
then
and so eventually somebody got to play it, yeah, pretty much. And they were like, holy shit, this is amazing.
But yeah, I mean, Microsoft put a bid in, then Activision outbid them,
Oh, fuck.
and it was only at the very last minute that Robbie Buck, the executive of Microsoft, actually increased the bid and won the deal at the time. And this is following on from talking about the fact that Sea of Thieves is coming out. It's not the MMO that everyone was worried about, but it is an interesting looking cooperative pirate game.
And apparently I'm not alone in thinking it looks a bit crap.
It's got a style to it. It may not necessarily be everyone's flavour, but...
Visually it looks quite bad, but no, the actual gameplay, it looks a bit crap. I mean, it just doesn't seem to gel properly. But then don't forget, it's only being made by Rare by name. All of the original Rare staff are gone now, pretty much. It's virtually no one left, and everyone there is new blood. So it's by Rare, but by Rare in title only. It's like Atari. Atari don't exist anymore. It's actually Infogrames using the Atari name. So Atari doesn't exist anymore. It just exists by name, very much in the same way that Rare does.
Yes.
Which is a crying shame. But that's why we have the guys making Ukulele, because that's where Rare went. Rare went over there, and they're making Ukulele, which is coming out on the PS4. Which feels like a big fuck you to Nintendo, considering Rare were pretty much exclusive to Nintendo for a while.
Yeah.
They were like one of their favourite third-party developers, and so pretty much bought into an exclusivity deal almost. And now it's coming to all platforms. It's coming to the Xbox, it's coming to the PlayStation, it's coming to the PC, but it doesn't seem to be coming to the Nintendos.
Well, they're still suffering from the third parties just not liking the changes to the 3DS and the Wii.
Yeah.
And the Wii U, so they're still not happy with what happened. Shame.
And apparently the
on.
NX isn't going to be the be-all and end-all. It's about as powerful as the current generation, just when the current generation is still bringing out their 0.5s.
Yeah, we'll wait for the 0.5s anyway. But anyway, Sega now wants Sonic to become an entertainment icon. Yeah.
Well, the Sonic Boom cartoon was good.
Yes.
So there's chance, because the game was shit, but then it wasn't made by Sega, it was outsourced again, so...
Well, they want to do all platforms, they want to elevate his status, which would be nice. As of last year, they're putting a huge emphasis on quality. A Sonic movie... which will blend CG and live action, is scheduled to come out 2018.
Yep, and we can't wait for some live action Eggman, and some
it's
badly animated Sonic.
Untitled and produced by Sony Pictures.
The guys who gave us the Smurfs, I remember.
And Fantastic Four.
And Garfield, didn't it?
Garfield wasn't that bad. There's no word yet on cast or director. And the story.
Because nobody wants to touch it. I'll do it. I'll show you how bad I could be.
But they have, however, confirmed a new Sonic game is in the works and will launch 2017.
Aren't they doing something for this year as well?
Well, they're doing some more info as part of Sonic Big Party at San Diego Comic Con in July.
It's the 25th anniversary this year, so they better be bringing a game out this year.
Yeah. The next one is Sonic Boom Fire and Ice, which will arrive for Nintendo on September 27. That's pretty much it.
I've got to say, I feel sorry for the guys who made Sonic Boom. Because they were royally fucked over. Sonic Boom could have been such a good game. But they didn't realise they were programming for the Wii U when they were making the game. Because at the time, they weren't. They were making for all the consoles with all the power that the hardware gives.
Yeah.
And then... Sega turned around and says, oh, by the way, just so you know, we kind of signed an exclusivity deal with this game for the Wii U, so yes, sorry. And they were like...
exclusivity deals hurting the consumers yet again.
For this case, yeah. And it was like, okay, so here's the Wii U dev kit. Why is it only half the power of all the others? Because it's the Wii U. This game won't run on that. Make it work. Oh shit.
Yeah.
And that's why Sonic Boom was shanked. Because the developers got dicked.
But it could have been such a good game, but never mind.
It could have been so much better. I wouldn't say it would be a good game, but it could have been so much better.
YouTube news. Apparently, PewDiePie's YouTube horror show, which I'm assuming is the YouTube Red one.
Yep, his YouTube Red
has been
series.
renewed. Yep, renewed for season 2.
Ooh.
Promises more thrills and chills. And they're also... turning Channing Tatum dancing moves Step Up into a sexy series.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Well, it's good that at least stuff that has been put on for the first season is getting picked up on, because it kind of suggests that it's getting traction.
Which is good.
Yeah, especially if it's YouTube trying to offer content for YouTube Red. It's like when Netflix started offering content. It was like, no one will ever want to watch it on Netflix.
Everybody watches it on Netflix.
Yes.
Mind you, have you seen the Map Hat stuff on YouTube Red?
I keep seeing the bits and pieces that he releases on his channel outside of it, like the parkour and
Well, the first episode,
filming
the
things.
parkour episode, is actually out for free.
Yeah.
You can watch the whole parkour episode, plus you can watch the 360-degree one. And then the others you pay for, but the 360-degree videos are free. And they're a nice little addition. And I saw the parkour one, and it was quite entertaining. And considering there's only like £1.50 or so to actually, buy it to watch it if you don't have YouTube Red yet, I thought that'd be kind of worth it. I haven't done so yet because I haven't been bothered, but I'm going to get.
Well, you get YouTube Red anyway because you pay for Google
Music. Yeah, I got my Google Play Music subscription, so I'll get YouTube Red for free, included in that, which is quite awesome.
Once it comes out to the UK. Yeah.
Yeah, when it finally gets out in the UK.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, we'll see what happens with that because online companies trying to get their stuff so it's going to be accessible across the Europe and us. Yeah.
Well, that doesn't matter now
times.
because we're out of the EU, so that doesn't apply anymore. Not to us.
Nothing's actually happened yet.
Oh, nothing's actually happened yet because we haven't activated Article 50. But when we do, within 2 years, then we won't have to worry about all that bullshit anymore.
No, I have to sign new deals. But speaking of the Brexit, the UK games industry has reacted to this.
Bricks with shat.
The UK dev for Rebellion does describe the uncertainty as unwelcome. UK, the trade body, says the decision has resulted in some uncertainty. However, it has provided assurances it will work to ensure the UK is the best place in the world to make and sell games. Which would be nice because we've been losing game companies.
Yes, to France, to Canada, basically to anywhere that can offer better tax breaks.
Yes.
So it would be quite nice to be able to set our own tax breaks.
Now, Tigger and Yuki have all been after getting the tax break sorted, as have the Democrats, the Liberal Democrats, when they were a thing.
Yes, I remember them. Long time ago.
Long time ago. Within the last 5 years. Oh, that's a long time ago.
Just about, yeah.
And they've been trying to get the tax break sorted out. The government hasn't been the best of things because obviously it's like blah, 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 blah. But there's also been the fact that you have had Canada, who have been offering significant tax breaks. Other countries, Sweden, like TK mentioned, France and that, offering significant tax breaks. So it has been really difficult for the government to realise that the UK industry for games is really big. At the moment, they provide high-skilled employment for over 30,000 people. This is estimates from Tigger Chief Executive Richard Wilson, including approximately 11,000 development staff, which contributes 1.1 billion to the UK's GDP. It's also export-orientated, with at least 95% of studios exporting. It will be more vital than ever, obviously, to strengthen and avoid harming those sectors where the UK has a comparative percentage. It could be a good thing for the games industry, because this is one of those things that we can export a lot of, and there are a lot of developers out there who have been demanding more exposure, more tax breaks, more chance to get out into the scene.
And with a lot of colleges and universities giving games courses that are being very popular at the moment, we're a couple of years away from having a flood of new developers appear on the scene.
Yes, and then it will be exactly like when I got through computing, and suddenly it's a case of, hey, all those computing jobs. Nah.
Well, that's just it. They'll be all coming out. They'll be all ready to code. And if we can have the tax break so we can attract all the studios to come over and start making their games here, there'll be jobs for them.
Yes.
Or, because there'll be a certain lack of red tape in the way, people can start up their own companies, and them and a few mates can band together and code and make games and release them.
Yes.
We could be on the dawn of a new evolution of gaming.
Well, we've currently gone through the resurgence of indie.
Yep.
The loss of the mid-sector, which was a shame.
The mid-range game.
And the cutting back of triple A's. We're now at the point where indies are kind of making up for that middle range now because they're of that quality.
Well, the indie scene for the most part has stepped up, so they are getting better in quality. And so what we need is a new indie scene now, because the indie's now becoming the mid-range. So, as it's like a continuous cycle, we do need that new blood, that new generation to carry on the cycle and basically it's like a circle of life almost.
Circle of life.
Whereas the indie devs get better, they become the middle range devs, the middle range devs become the AAA devs, and then they get bought by Activision.
Well, if you're savvy, you'll sell your company after you've hit your one massive big game to a company like Activision or Microsoft.
Yeah, Mojang.
And then sit there on Twitter starting fights.
Yeah, and being a troll. Isn't that right, David Cage?
Oh.
Isn't that right, Phil Fish? Isn't that right, Notch?
Well, Phil Fish, unfortunately, can indeed, I'm sorry to say this, go away and die in a fire, because I have no time for Phil Fish. After everything he's
or
done.
Mr. Molyneux.
Molyneux, oh my god, Molyneux is not an example for the rest of the developers in the world.
No, he
Ever.
definitely is. Big example.
Don't do this.
Don't be this guy. It's like, not so much an example, I would say, as more a cautionary tale. Don't do this. This is bad. No, do not do the thing. Don't release Goddess. Oh, Goddess is a bad idea. Let's make a mobile game for the PC. That won't work. I'll make it work. No, you won't. It's god-awful. It's god-awful, not Goddess.
Oh dear, but yeah, that's general geekery. That's the news for the week. All in all, so...
Yeah, I fixed it.
Yeah, you fixed it.
I fixed the buttons. Yay. I think.
Buttons.
Buttons. Fuck yeah, buttons. Sparkle.
Fuck yeah, sparkle. So, music.
Tunes! Well, since we were talking about Sonic the Hedgehog's 25th anniversary, I was on OC Remix and found a new OC Remix that arrived from Sonic the Hedgehog. And it's a bit of Green Hill Zone. But they've done things to it. Now, I haven't had a chance really to listen to it properly yet, so what I'll do is, when the music is playing, I'll probably turn on the stereo so we can both hear it through the headphones and things. Yeah, because I'm nuts like that. I'll have the technology. And so I thought we'd give this a bit of a try. And it's all the way down there, so I'm going to have to pick it up because I can't read it from where it's at. Right, it's by a chap called Sir Nuts, as, you know, you do. And it's called Sonic
Nuts.
Cosmotronic. And if you remember, there was a song yonks ago called like Supersonic Cosmotronic or something like that. I wonder if it's anything like that. Apparently that's been getting rave reviews on OC Remix. People like this. It's only about 3.5 minutes long, so it's not too long. I thought, since it is Sonic's 25th anniversary, and it was literally like a couple of days ago, we might as well give it a bit of a play. So, Sir Nuts from OC Remix with Sonic Cosmotronic.
It's that time where the cast of TigerTails Radio reviews stuff badly. This is Done and Dusted.
Yep, this is now Done and Dusted. It's that section of the show where myself and Xavier talk about things that we've watched, seen, tasted, smelled, otherwise experienced, and then give them all to you in the format of noise into your ear holes so that you can appreciate these things without actually having to go and do them.
Yay. Can you sense filler?
Nope, not in the
I can
slightest.
sense filler.
What are you talking about? No, there's no filler here. What are you talking about? There is no filler. How could you? The mere suggestion of these things, it's like treason to my ears.
I've kind of gotten out of sync of doing stuff.
Yeah, you and me both.
That's why I said I was like need to like plan things so that way I can.
Yeah, we can actually have things to
stuff.
work towards and shit.
Yes.
And targets and goals and things that we can achieve.
Yeah, work's unfortunately rubbing off on me, and it's like, yes, having targets and goals for stuff is a good thing. And I'm sat there going, oh my god. Since when did I become the work person?
I just need to quickly go and do a thing. I do apologise. I shall be back very shortly. Talk amongst yourself for a sec.
So TK, the person with the thing for Done and Dusted,
What you bitching?
and as you can guess, is going away. He's going away. He may not be coming back. He is going away. When I come down on the weekend, I will slap him like the bitch he is. Oh dear. What can we talk about then for a brief side note for Done and Dusted? Oh, I didn't watch that bizarre thing you mentioned, TK, about them doing the street for Downing Street for the Brexit
What are you talking about?
migration. You know that they had the BBC doing the Brexit.
Oh, hang on,
live coverage.
You're breaking up again.
Hey,
Let me just wiggle the
Brexit
thing.
live coverage.
Keep talking.
Brexit live coverage.
Yeah, just keep saying that over and over again. I'm just trying to get the thing in the sweet spot.
Okay, so BBC did a program where they were taking the votes live.
What, is this on Thursday?
Yeah, the live BBC.
I stayed up
and-
for that until about 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, and it was on a staged version of Downing Street.
Hmm.
And I did not stay up and watch any of that. I completely missed all of that because I just want to sleep. Because I had work early in the morning,
So did I.
so I wasn't fussed. But I heard about it from various people. Because it was in the same level as every other BBC political tracker, only slightly worse. Because it was like,
I was like, because we don't have all the information and we don't have anything to set these against, our exit polls are useless at the moment, so... Yeah!
yeah. So Didn't get to see that. That would have been hilarious to do a review on that because it was just awful.
Well, I was watching it, and so I can give you a quick rundown. It's like at first, Remain took an early lead. And got a good few thousand ahead. And then Leave started catching. And then Leave overtook. And they got a bit further ahead than Remain had got to start with. And then Remain caught up and gained a bit of momentum and went ahead again. And went ahead by a significant margin, aided by some of the Scottish results coming in. The north of England hadn't quite finished coming in yet. And after a quite heavy momentum in the Remain's favour, Leave got a bit of momentum and actually went ahead quite some way. And then the London results started coming in and drew it back into Remain's favour for a little while. This was now probably about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it was getting silly early in the morning from what I was told.
It looked like Remain might have it. But then the south of England wasn't quite finished. And the southeast and the southwest kind of bullied together. And with a side from a few cities, swung it back into Leave's favour. And then from there, Leave started gaining traction and momentum. And the numbers were growing. And both myself and Hedgie were up for this. And we were watching it, and it was all quite intense and exciting because Leave would get so far and then they would get knocked back again by some Remain votes coming in. And then they would go ahead again a bit further and a bit further. And there was one London district that was the one that was going to kind of undo all this good because apparently it was quite a large one and they were destined to be quite heavy in Remain's favour. And so it was a case of the first one to get, I think it was like 16.8 million or 18.6 or something, was going to be the one that won it. 16.8, I think it was. That was going to be the one that won it. And so we're watching these numbers slowly tot up towards this goal. And then it got to the point by about 12 million in Leave's favour. And this was about 5 o'clock in the morning that the BBC called it and said, no, Leave have it now. It's mathematically impossible for Remain to catch up. And we were going, oh, hang on, it can't be mathematically impossible because neither have hit this magical mark yet. They're still going, and they're still coming in. And then Southampton declared at about 4:30. Thanks, guys. Bastards. So I was waiting for them, basically. But we're still waiting for this one London one, which is apparently going to change everything to come along, and it didn't. And apparently it was a lot more in Leave's favour than they'd anticipated. So it wasn't quite the huge majority of Remain that they thought it was going to be. But that was pretty much the tale of the night. Everyone was expecting massive Remains, and in fact the Leave were taking places that should have been strong Remain areas. Yeah. And so it ended up being quite a colourful chart on their big wall swingy thingy.
Yeah, and everyone else's analytics of it was just ridiculous. Because they've done so many analytics now off the back of the results. Because, old people are racist and young people didn't bother turning up for the vote.
Apparently. Well, all these were taken from a couple of YouGov polls done after the thing. And the sample size was okay, but it wasn't exactly huge. And depending on where YouGov sampled, it wasn't exactly necessarily a good depiction of the overall picture. The only way you'll know that is by knowing how everybody voted, in which case you won't, because it's a secret ballot. So you're not going to be able to get accurate figures. So all these projections on who voted how, not necessarily true. It's like they're saying that so many young people wanted Remain, so many old people said Leave. And it's like, yeah, but you don't actually know that. All you've got is your small sample size, which is nowhere near even a few 100,000. These are a couple of thousand you've sampled. So you can't really drag nationwide figures based off these.
Oh, they will.
Oh, they will, because that's how they managed to get the general election in 2015 so wrong. But and it was the BBC's exit poll that got it spot on.
Good fun.
So you can't really trust the polls. But that won't stop people from quoting them on Facebook and Twitter.
Oh, that's all right. It's like I said, it's now turning a meme which really was about trying to remember that we're friends and we're not looking to beat each other up into someone beating someone up.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, seriously. I know our government is incompetent, but at some point there will be people who can do the job to actually go, yes, we've now got everything we need to run a country.
What I don't get is why everybody is beating up on Jeremy Corbyn. Now, as you know, I'm not Corbyn's biggest fan.
He didn't turn up, basically. That's the argument. He didn't turn up.
Corbyn is traditionally Eurosceptic. If you look at any of his historical stuff, he is Eurosceptic. So it's a massive surprise when he joined the Remain campaign anyway. But then I suppose he would do, being the head of the Labour Party. It was kind of forced into it. But he's a principled man, and he won't go against his principles. And the Remain campaign was against everything he'd been kind of doing for the last 30 odd years. So you can't really be surprised if he didn't exactly throw his whole weight into it. And for all these shadow cabinet members to be resigning because I don't think he did enough, it's like, look at who's leading you. You've got someone who's basically a Eurosceptic leading you, and you're expecting him to put all his gusto into the Remain campaign. How fucking stupid are you?
Well, I can understand where they're coming from, because he really did dial it in, and then as soon as the announcement was done, his first Facebook post was, "I'm the man to lead us into the uncharted territory. Don't follow the Conservatives, because clearly they don't have a clue what's going on." Within seconds, his party shadow cabinet were resigning.
Yeah.
It's like, I can see why they're resigning, because they have no confidence that you have your eye on the ball.
No, they've got no confidence that he can lead. Because
There's
he
that
didn't
as well.
lead the Labour Party into the Remain victory that they were hoping for, apparently that's all his fault. And it's
Well,
like, no, really it isn't. He was not going to fight for something he didn't believe in. It's your fault for that assumption. That's not his fault. It's like, are you going to fight to increase the number of guns in people's homes? No, you're not, because it's not something you believe in. So why the fuck would you expect him to go against his beliefs? I mean, he was going pretty much against them by saying, yeah, okay, I'll join Remain, because, I kind of have to. My hands are kind of tied, but I don't have to really exert myself in it. And so he didn't. He did as much as his conscience would allow. And he went up in my estimation because of that. He's kind of mostly stuck to his principles. Because I always had him a bit of a turncoat for joining the Remain side. But when you stop and think about it and actually use a bit of brain and a bit of logic and notice his performance, then he maintained his principles as much as he could do in his position. He did what he was forced to and nothing more.
Yeah, and the fact that he avoided the debacle that the Prime Minister walks face first into is neither here nor there. The fact that potentially he's now angling his party to win the next general election off the back of the debacle that's happened now, it's neither here nor there.
At the moment, there's that 5-year rule in place, so it's going to be virtually impossible to have another general election until 2020 anyway.
Yeah,
and everyone's saying
the next few weeks.
Everyone's saying, congratulations, Leave campaigner, you were all about democracy, and now we're going to get an unelected Prime Minister. And I was sat there going, wait a second, you mean like Gordon Brown? The last Labour Prime Minister who was unelected because we voted and Tony Blair got in. Remember that?
Yes.
Or is that a bit too far in the past for you to remember?
Oh, no one wants to remember Tony Blair except as a war criminal and a hate and everything else. Not as the guy who promised to turn Europe around, turn England around.
And failed.
This is why I have no interest in the political system, because none of them will actually get it right, because at the end of the day it's a case of Europe doesn't want England to do anything except support them.
Well, Europe doesn't want anybody to do anything except support them. Never mind England alone.
But the problem is, you must be a conglomerate. But we hate conglomerates.
Yeah, that's the thing. One of the, I think it was like the financial head of Czechoslovakia, or the Czech Republic now, actually has come out blasting Jean-Claude Juncker, saying, this is all your fault. Brexit is your fault. Your expansionist and federalist dreams have scared off the UK. And it is all your fault. You need to resign. And I was reading this going, yes, exactly that. Exactly
I can see that. I don't agree with the fact that it's a case of things have ballsed up and the guy in charge has to quit, because I've never agreed with that, because that happens with companies and it's like, company made a mistake.
No.
I've never agreed.
In this particular instance, I would say that this is a case where, Jean-Claude Juncker should resign.
This particular person, we're then saying, this particular person.
Oh no, in this case, judge it on a case-by-case scenario. And,
Yes, the person.
And in this case, Mr. Jean-Claude
This person.
Juncker and his stupid, crazy expansionist dreams have ruined it for everyone. And so maybe it is time he disappeared. He is effectively the Sepp Blatter of Europe.
We are not advocating assassination or anything
No,
like
not that kind of go. I mean, resign. Jesus Christ, how extreme do you want to get?
You didn't
No,
say
I didn't
go, you
realise I was
said
talking to a
disappear.
bloody BNP person on the other end of the phone. I thought you were normal.
I'm not normal, and I'm certainly not BNP. Thank you very much.
Well, now you're implying that BNP is normal. You want to watch your words here.
Normality is subjective at the end of the day, and to me, my subjective is all over the place.
Yeah.
But hey ho, I'm generally contradictory. But we have something called done and dusted because unfortunately, Quiplash is not a thing.
Yeah, we don't have Quiplash this week, mostly because of technical issues. So, yes, we do have a thing for Done and Dusted. I don't know if you've done anything at all.
No, unfortunately, my timing of getting stuff done is all out of whack. So that's
Yeah.
why I need to plan stuff. That's what
Well, I've been watching a lot.
saying.
I've been watching a lot of YouTube and lots of things. There's a lot of things forthcoming, which I'm looking forward to. I'm still trying to find the most recent episode of The Lion Guard, which is proving elusive, which is really annoying. I am trying to get my hands on the new series of Wentworth because I didn't realise season 4 of that was out.
Yeah, that's being advertised now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on Channel 5 tonight. And I was like,
Yeah.
shit, really? That means there's like at least 7 episodes available on the internet. So I'll be trying to track them down. Pardon me.
I'm not entirely sure if I'd like that because I remember Prisoner Cell Block H back in the days of the
Oh, Wentworth is amazing.
polystyrene walls. I'm not sure if I could.
I wasn't sure. I thought, I'll
Yeah.
go into it with an open mind. It's a reboot. It's a complete reboot. They're going to have character names that are the same and maybe 1 or 2 elements that are similar, but otherwise completely original story, completely original setup. And I went into it with an open mind, and I was really impressed. I was like, okay, you've taken this idea, and you've run with it. You've gone in a different direction to the original. You've made it familiar enough so those who watch the original will be able to recognize certain characters and certain character traits that those characters had, but it's not a direct copy, which is nice. It's an actual modernization, a reworking, a reimagining, and you've taken the property and you've made it work. And the end of season 3 was fucking spectacular, and I want to see how they cope with season 4. And now season 4 is upon us. I can do that thing. And I'm looking forward to doing that thing because I spent way too many hours watching the new series of Prisoner, or Wentworth as it's called, or I forgot what it's Wentworth Prison is what it's called in the UK. Because I forget it was called Prisoner everywhere else and Prisoner Cell Block H in the UK because we already had a show called Prisoner, and so they didn't want confusion. And I've still got every episode of Prisoner Cell Block H to get through. I'm about episode 150, 200 odd of about 620, so. I've still got a lot to get through on that front. Looking forward to it. But the new series has been absolutely fantastic. So try and find it, Pete, if you can. It might be available on Netflix or anything like that.
Doubt it. Might be online somewhere, but I don't think I'll have access to it. But it does look interesting because they seem to be doing a potential revenge plot for this
for Joan Ferguson.
Season. Names that mean nothing to me at this point in time.
Well, in the original Prison Cell Block H, Joan Ferguson was a prison guard who was a lesbian and a sadomasochistic freak. I mean, she was called the Freak, and she was absolutely off her trolley, crazy mental. And she wore black leather gloves, and she would dish out punishment. And we are talking punishment. We're not just talking.
The warden, wasn't it?
Yes. Now there were 2. There was Joan Bennett, or Vinegar Tits as she was known, and she was just spiteful and nasty to the prisoners, and she saw them as scum of the earth, basically. But it was revealed that she'd basically had a really tough upbringing, and her mother was a complete bitch to her, and it left her with pretty much no remorse and that kind of thing. And then,
damage.
yeah, pretty much. And her mother dying really took a kind of top nutball, and she basically took over the role of the nasty guard, and with gusto. In this new series, Joan became Jane became the kind of prison head, and was basically running the show. Eventually, she didn't start that way. She came in series 3, and yeah, she was just a psycho, and ended up committing some crimes which nearly got her killed. So she's now coming back into Wentworth as a prisoner this time, apparently.
Didn't that happen in the original prisoner cell blockage? Because I swear blind, that was part of her storyline.
I'm fairly sure that, at one point she was actually caught and busted for what she was doing and ended up being a prisoner for a while.
Yeah, because she tried to then be the big person, and then they ended
Yeah.
up transferring one of the previous big persons in, and yeah, prisoner cell blockage went on for a long time.
It went
There
on
was
for a
lot of stuff
very
going
long
on.
time. Yeah, 620 episodes of it. So
It was like a serious version of, Home and Away, only with prisoners.
yeah, and it was on in the UK at about 10 to 11, which was great because it was the one show I was allowed to stay up late and watch because Mother loved it, and so I got to stay up and watch it as well. And then when Channel 5 were doing the reruns of it, we kind of videotaped them because they were on at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then we'd watch them in the afternoon. It was nice family time.
It was silly times though, silly times.
Very silly times. Well, it was adult and stuff,
Ooh.
or just tiny and Australian. All the good stuff comes out of Australia in terms of soaps.
That I will agree with, because I have no time for EastEnders, I have no time for Corrie, I've got no time for, what else? Hollyoaks, which...
No, none of that. I will have... I only had time for EastEnders when it was Peggy Mitchell with Barbara Windsor in there.
I
Because I've got
couldn't...
all the time in the world for Barbara Windsor.
Yeah,
think she's
Barbara
fantastic.
Windsor is fantastic, but I just couldn't, because there was just so much stuff going on that was just, Seriously, after the number of deaths, murders, killings, suicides, assisted murders, lost people, found people, drug deals, weapon deals, arson, prostitution, abuse. It's like, do you want to live in Walford Square or whatever? It's like, no. I want to live in Kosovo.
Do you want to know Jessica Fletcher? Because you will wind up either dead or accused of murder.
Which is really bad, because I've watched the episodes where a reoccurring character who's like a friend, who was the guy who played... I don't think it was the guy who played... It might have been the guy who played Gomez Adams, but it was a guy who was also in Erie, Indiana.
Are you talking the
As a
TV
reoccurring
series,
character.
Gomez Adams?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the TV series. It
Now,
might
the
be
old
the guy
TV
who
series
looks-
or the new TV series?
Old one, I think. I'd have to look it up. I don't want to say Raul Julia, but it's
No,
a
Raul
guy
Julia was
who
the
looks...
film guy.
Yeah, it's a guy who looks like him.
No, Raul Julia was the guy who looked like the TV guy.
Yeah,
He started
the TV guy who was like a friend of Jessica Fletcher. He was like a land salesman, house salesman, con man.
Mhm.
It eventually got to the point where, yes, he, as a friend, ended up being the murderer because he was paid to kill people off.
Really?
Yes. It was quite weird to watch that episode, because I go, I remember you from previous episodes. He was never the killer until this one time, and it was like, damn it. Stop proving the trope right. You're a friend of Jessica Fletcher. You've killed people. God damn it. TK quietly face palming in the background.
No, I'm tapping to Werewolfian channel. Because Werewolfian
Yes.
channel. Hello.
Hello, welcome here. Yes. You've missed a lot of the bitching.
Or had he? Or was he just... Yeah, he's saying hi to everyone. So, hello!
Well, to be honest, this is now what we're going to have, which is what's just going to annoy me.
Well,
Because we can go on about wonderful things that we're going to watch and do. Because we've got a big break ahead of us.
a big break.
Yeah, a big break, break, mid-season break.
Oh, that,
So
okay.
we've got
I was
got
going to say, I'm trying to
time.
quantify into any way I could think of. I'm thinking holidays, and I'm thinking, what's he talking about? But no, you say we've got a big break, but that's not strictly true, because we've got the sports things coming up. So, isn't there some, like, an Olympic thing happening in Rio at some point?
Oh,
this year?
yeah, there's the Olympics. But in terms of the show...
We've also got...
have a break.
We've got Robot Wars coming up. They've started releasing teaser trailers, and I'm very happy.
Finally. But yeah, we've got some time to actually get ourselves organised to do things, which is the one thing what we're trying to do, let's be honest.
Well, one thing I'm looking forward to is the new series of Robot Wars. BBC have been releasing some teaser trailers, and one of the first ones they released was Thor. Now, if you've watched my Robot Wars videos I've got on YouTube, Thor is one of the robots that fights.
Yes.
And so I've had up close and personal experience with Thor. And I was like, woohoo! Thor's on the TV! Because I've seen Thor fight, and Thor's fucking amazing in the lives. So this should be very interesting to see how he does against people on TV. He's probably going to get annihilated in 8 nanoseconds, probably killing himself. But it's going to be interesting because we've been promised some nice surprises. And there was one image of, I think his name's Ian Pritchard, the chap from the Razor team. And there's a rumour, nothing's been confirmed because obviously it's all hush-hush NDA'd, but a Razor might have made a return.
Oh, I wish. I so wish.
Well, you say that, but Razor Boys also made a comeback in America with their American robot, whose name I can't remember the name of. And aside from being a bit polished and nice looking, it was virtually unchanged and got annihilated. Because technology's moved on a lot. I mean, the old robots that we see in Robot Wars now, when they fight in the lives, they have their own subcategory called the retro robots, because they just don't have the power to compete against the big boys now. Only a very few, like Stinger and Behemoth, compete against the modern breed, because they've been rebuilt enough times to be able to cope with it. But a lot of the retro robots now just can't take that kind of abuse. And so they're up against robots of their own kind of power class.
Yeah. Well, if you remember from the first season of Robot Wars...
Oh, and Jeremy Clarkson was doing it.
Yeah, Roadblock.
Yep.
Roadblock had no offensive weaponry aside from a spinny blade at one point.
It had a little tiny circular saw at the back, yeah, that did nothing.
But it was literally a ginormous wedge that managed to get under everyone's clearance.
Yep, and flip them upside down.
I don't think there was anyone that didn't get flipped by it.
Oh, because back in the day there were no Shremex, and so there was no way of righting yourself if you became inverted. And having robots that were invertible wasn't a thing in those days, because no one had thought of that. But it did bring on the generation of the wedge-shaped machines.
Oh yeah, season 2.
Yeah.
And then eventually they figured they needed a way of defending against that, because so many people were dying to it.
The defense was the zero ground clearance, where they had the side skirts to stop people getting underneath the robots. So along came the flippers. That was in season 2. And I think it was Cassius, the first robot to actually self-right in series 2. It was like, oh, I've been flipped by a wedge bot. I'm upside down. Flip. Wee 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 wee. Land. And everybody shit bricks. And that was that. That was the birth of the flipper as the Shremek. The Shremek was born. And so that then became, basically, if you didn't have a way of self-righting, you were fucked. Royally fucked.
And there were so many that didn't still. Even in season 3, season 4.
Yeah, it was around about season 4 where everyone, well, people like Razor, that's what it Razor, but Hypnodisc came along in season 3, I think. And originally didn't have a Shremek because they didn't think anyone was going to get near enough to flip them. Of course, that disc was wholly unreliable. And if that disc stopped, they got flipped. And even characters like Chaos 2 came along and were like, oh, you want us to go and attack the big disc at the back? No, we're just going to go into that big bit at the back and flip that. Yeah, and our flipper's powerful, man. You is going in the air.
Yeah, Chaos and Chaos 2 were insane. Chaos 2 especially. I didn't really like the iterations after that. I wasn't a fan of the iterations after Chaos 2.
Well, Chaos 2 was George Francis's last machine, so he didn't, aside from a sacrificial bot for an exhibition match, which was basically to go in with Theator and be set on fire, and just to have them run around while on fire, he didn't build any other robots. And he served as a technical advisor in Robot Wars Series 7, which is the one that was on Channel 5.
I swear blind there was more different versions of Chaos.
Oh, that was original Chaos, which is basically a wedge box after Robot the Bruce came along. But Chaos 2 was the last in the design, and that was from like season 3 onwards until season 6, and then Extreme 2. And Extreme Series 2 was the last fights, because he was up against 13 Black and a couple of others. And he lost the fight, and, well, I say he lost the fight, the robot lost the fight, and was then obliterated with the big fuck-off hammer of death that came along from
Not
Mr.
Knight,
Psycho.
Not the Knight.
No,
Oh,
Mr.
right.
Psycho.
Oh.
Oh, hang on. What am I doing? Oh, audio cable weapons. Come on. So yeah, that's what they. So there's a new small information chaos too. But the UK series is coming back, hosted by Dara
Yes.
Breen and woman whose name I can never remember, but then I can never remember the female presenters. It took me long enough to remember Philippa Forrester, but I still can't remember who replaced her when she went off to have a baby. And so that's going to be interesting. No Craig Charles this year, but we do have the Motormouth Jonathan Pierce coming back. So I'm
Yes.
highly, highly excited for that. Because Jonathan Pierce was what made Robot Wars for me.
Oh, actually having an announcer that was fun to listen to. That's the thing. I mean, it was one of the few saving graces of the Big Brother from the original series, because you had this ridiculous northern chap talking all over what was going on.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the content just was rubbish after a while. But hey ho!
But the UK isn't the only country in the world that has robotic combat. Because Robot Wars had to have been spawned from somewhere, and it came from the Americans' BattleBots series, which was also about as long running as Robot Wars in America, and last year came back for a new series after many, many years of being away,
Yeah.
and it was highly successful, and I watched it all, and it was amazing. And so they've announced Series 2, and a lot more robots are in Series 2, because it's going to be a much bigger series.
Nice.
And I think there's about 48 robots in all. And they had
Nice.
decided 44 of them, and there were still 4 slots left. But they had 12 robots that they couldn't really decide between. So they thought they'd make a special show of 4 qualifiers. 3 robots in each qualifier, 1 robot survives and goes through into the main series.
Makes sense.
It does indeed. And so that's what they did. And so we have now, the main series starts in a few weeks' time. Or, actually, no, it's a couple of weeks' time, actually, if that. And we have now an episode available which you can watch from various sites, legal or not, I'm not sure. And also some previews available on YouTube of the new series of BattleBots. And oh my god, it looks good. They've got, because they don't use the proper FRA rules that we use for our fighting robots, they can have things that we can't. For instance, they have flamethrowers and drones and certain things. They don't have entanglement weapons like ours, which is good. And because the Battle Box Arena was rather sturdy, they had some very, very destructive robots last time. And this year seems to be no exception. But the fact they've got drones this year is very interesting. And there was a UK competitor actually this year who was in the playoffs and decided to do a clusterbot styling. And in the UK, the clusterbot rules are if one cluster dies, then your whole robot's dead, effectively. So you need to make sure it all stays alive. In America, it's not strictly true. You can have as many robots as you like, so long as you don't go over the overall weight, which, same here. But depending on how it works, you can eliminate a number of them and still be in the competition. And so
Excellent.
a lot of robots come along, and if they have some spare weight, they'll actually create a smaller bot as like an irritation device. They call it a sacrificial bot. And so it's there literally to be destroyed, but it's there to niggle and annoy and get under the wheels of the opposition to hopefully give the main robot a chance of an entry to get in. Which is an interesting idea. And so it'd be interesting to see if we get any sacrificial bots coming up in our new series of Robot Wars, because that'd be nice to see. But there was a UK competitor who decided to go full clusterbot, 5 robots, all of equal weight. So they had to at least have 3 remaining in order to stay in. But they were up against a horizontal spinner. Yeah, you can imagine how well that went.
Whee!
5 teeny tiny robots in comparison to 1 fuck-off great 110 kilogram spinning death blade. It did not work out for the UK competition. They went home.
I am not surprised.
No.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, but there was another clusterbot involved, a 2-robot clusterbot. And it was a case of they managed to be exactly 50% of the weight down the middle. And so it's a case of the whole cluster had to be destroyed in order for the robot to be out. You couldn't just take out one and call it a victory, which is completely different to how we do it. And that was,
Yeah.
I was like, that's very strange. Is it going to work out for them? I can't remember. I don't think it did. And another one had a drone. And the idea of the drone was the robot was supposed to be kind of semi-disabled by the main bot, and then the drone would sweep in, land on the stricken robot, and drill into it to try and drill into the electronics. Which was a novel concept. Except it was up against a robot that had like an axe blade to it, or a hammer blade. And the hammer won. It knocked the drone out of the sky and squished it like a bug.
I am not surprised.
It was hilarious. So I'm really looking forward to the next series of BattleBots. And I'm very much looking forward to the next series of Robot Wars. This year is a good year for robotic combat. Because not only do we have the Robot Wars live tour, which is going to be called Robots Extreme next year, because they're redeveloping their battle arena and their audience protection to make it a little bit more able to cope with the stresses and strains of future robots.
You mean flying debris?
Yeah, well, hopefully that means spinners. Because at the moment, the UK touring scene doesn't have any spinning blades. Because, yeah, the projectiles forced from that could probably go through the armour of the arena. And so it's not been rated for that, so we don't allow them in the touring scene at the moment. Because it is a touring show. So
yeah,
having to cart all that around, not easy. So they're completely redesigning the arena to make it possible to have the kind of protection that you need to incorporate spinners. They haven't said whether or not spinners will be allowed, because obviously for these guys it's their hobby. You know,
Yes.
They don't have masses of money to constantly rebuild their robots each weekend to take it to the next tour a couple of weeks later. So whether or not we'll see spinners will be another story, or they may be very low power spinners. So we'll just get some dents and gouges as opposed to full-on destruction like we did with the early series of Hypnodisc. Because that was destructive. It was put against some really weak armoured robots. That was just cruel on Mentorn's part. Mentorn were mean people. It's like Crocodilotron just got absolutely obliterated by Hypnodisc's blade. There's like batteries flying all over the arena and bits of the body shell that are just completely torn away. And it's like, this is the kind of destruction that we like. I noticed there was never really the Razor versus Hypnodisc fight. I wonder why.
Well, I thought it did once, and it did manage to, when it was the flat blade, and it did manage to actually pierce it, because the disc worked to a point and then just went clear.
Was it Hypnodisc it was up against that they actually managed to get in behind Razor and actually snap the tension cable that made Razor's beak work? But
There was a few times
Razor
that
had been
happened,
disabled at this point, and so it was very bad sportsmanship to come in and do that to them, because Razor was pretty much dead because the wheels had malfunctioned. And
Yeah,
I remember
this happened a lot.
Ian Lewis being very, very pissed off at that. Like, yeah, well, I can understand that. But Razor was an amazing machine, and if it is coming back for the new series of Robots, I'll be very happy to see it. I was never a huge fan of Razor, but it is a wonderful machine.
Oh, I liked it because it was slick, it was different, and
It was stylish.
one of those which did huge amounts of damage.
And Pritchard was a very good driver as well. Definitely worked out in his favour. But yeah, mind you, saying that, Robot Wars, thinking about it, remember the guy who tried to shoot Donald Trump the other week?
Yeah, that was interesting news to read.
Former contestant on Robot Wars.
That's not what you want to advertise.
When he was 9 years old, he was on the Kilohertz team. And eventually he took ownership of the Steel Avenger. And a few other robots, which he then sold on the cheap so he could get the money to go to America to shoot Trump.
Yeah, you're not making many friends there, kid.
Oh, is he? That's the thing. It's like, you
like,
say he's
no,
not making many friends. There's a lot of people in America who'd be quite happy if he shot Trump.
Oh yeah, but there's also a lot of people who are fans of Robot Wars who go, "You sold what?"
Oh no, because he sold them to other Roboteers. They stayed within the
Yeah.
Robot Wars community.
They'll be happy, but it's like,
Oh no, he bought them from the other Roboteers. So, because you know, as Roboteers move on, their lives change and things, they can't do the Robot Wars anymore. So they'll sell their robots to other Roboteers to then maintain and keep fighting, which is quite nice because robots change hands fairly frequently. And so, if you've ever wanted to own a heavyweight, you know, it's within the realm of possibility. If you just get chatting to the Roboteers on Facebook, every now and again, robots come up for sale, and you can put your bid in. So yeah, and there's some from the TV series that are still floating around, you know, and money's changing hands for them. I mean, the Steel Avenger is now used by the Robots touring crew as a Platinum VIP experience robot, where you actually take control of one of the heavyweights and have a couple of fights with it, and actually take it back to the pits and help repair it, ready for a second fight. which is quite awesome.
Yes.
Okay, it costs an absolute fucking fortune. It's like nearly 100 quid a ticket. But you do get to see the live show as well, and you get the backstage tour and everything. So, it's all quite nice, but the actual chance to play with some of the heavyweights from your childhood, yeah, worth the money. Definitely worth the money. Not that I'll ever get the chance to actually spend that kind of money, because I'll never have it to go on there, but yeah, I want to play. It looks fun.
You want to play with toys?
I want to play with 100-kilogram toys of death and destruction. I mean, when I went to the Robot Wars live show the other week, we actually got to go into the fighting arena and just check out how wrecked the floor was. And got to get up close and all touchy with their big house robot, Major Damage. It was quite cool looking actually when you get up close and personal. It was actually quite awesome. And so, but not going to have a patch on Sir Killalot, especially in his new build. Sir Killalot's beefy. I mean, he was 300 kilograms previously. He's now up to nearly 800. Yeah. Even Shunt, who was like 102 kilos, I think, is now up to the 300 mark. Shunt is now as heavy as Sir Killalot was back in the day. Just get your head around that for a minute.
Yeah, that's just like a lot of weight.
Yeah. It's like, you're going to flip us, are you, bitches? Don't think so. And I'm going, yeah, you haven't seen Ripper yet, have you?
I remember when that was a thing. Somebody actually flipped Shunt.
Oh, yeah, flipping Shunt was easy. Flipping Shunt was easy. I mean, Chaos 2 used to do it all the time. And Matilda. I mean, Razor ripped Matilda apart.
Yeah.
Okay, that was because they were rebuilding her. Because they were getting rid of the chainsaw and replacing it with the flywheel and upgrading everything else. So they were like, let's have a House Robot Rebellion. Okay, and here you go, Roboteers. Here's Matilda. Go nuts. We're not going to stop you. Have fun. And so they did.
They did because they didn't like Matilda.
Well, they did because she was basically in that particular fight, she was cannon fodder. They were going to they were going to rebuild her, and it was like, let's give the audience a show. Fuck it. Let's tear up Matilda. Here you go, guys. This is the plan. You're going to annihilate her. Have fun. And they did. And then they got her back up, and she wasn't disabled. She was just bodywork damage, so I put a load of plasters over the back of her and sent her back out there. And it was like, look, she's fine, she'll live. She's just going away for some plastic surgery now. Which I thought was funny. And Jonathan Pierce was like, R.I.P. Matilda. Oh, is it? It's available on YouTube now, if you want to go watch it. It's very funny. Rust in pieces.
Well, at least this new version is going to be a lot better than the new Top Gear.
Oh god, yeah, which is hemorrhaging viewers.
Mm.
The most recent episode, 2.3 million. It's lowest ever. Even beating the worst episode when Clarkson was in charge, which had 2.4 million. And have you heard the news, actually? Matt LeBlanc has said that he would quit if little old Carrot Top doesn't go first.
What? Evans?
Yeah. Basically, Matt LeBlanc has turned around and says, either he goes or I go.
Oh, this...
Yeah. Yeah, the reason there's no chemistry between those two on the show...
They don't like each other.
They don't like each other. Yeah, Matt LeBlanc really does not like Chris Evans. He's being on the set with Chris Evans. He's seen, apparently, that Chris Evans is quite the egomaniacal control freak.
Really?
Yeah, who'd have thunk it?
Only everyone who ever watched any of his stuff.
Yeah, anyone who's ever worked with him, watched his stuff, yeah, so... he's not happy with Chris Evans and says, look, either he goes or I go. And seeing as everybody on social media at the moment is saying how good Matt LeBlanc is and how bad Chris Evans is, I wonder which one of them two will be leaving. Ooh, I can't imagine.
Hopefully Chris Evans.
Yeah, apparently...
I didn't like it when they announced it was him. It was
I was like, oh god, they've ruined it. Because I saw Chris Evans in a section of Top Gear talking about Ferraris and things, and he knew his shit. But, oh god, he was irritating on that show. And that was only in a segment. To have a whole show of him? Ugh.
Yeah.
But apparently episode 4 was reasonable, and then episode 5 took it back down to the diatribe, and that was the most recent one.
Oh,
And it's like, oh god.
Were they still trying to do jokes at the expense of Clarkson and that?
I don't know. I haven't seen 4 or 5. I saw 1, 2, and 3. Because everyone was saying that 2 was a much improvement and 3 apparently was even better. So I thought, okay, I'll wait for the fuss to die down, and then I'll watch them on catch up. Yeah. And 2 was meh. 3 was better, but mostly because there was very little Chris Evans in it. And that was actually quite good. Eddie Jordan I found quite enjoyable. A lot of people didn't like him, but I quite enjoyed him. But the star in the rallycross car is just shit. They need to get rid of that section. It's like because they have the guests introduce each other.
Oh god. And
so they have them reading off the auto cue, and these people are not presenters, and it's painful to watch. Really painful. So apparently for episode 5 they didn't bother doing that, but as I haven't seen it yet, I can't verify. But from what I saw, and a couple of people saying, thank God they didn't do it this time. So maybe they're learning. But yeah, we need to get rid of Chris Evans. Top Gear does not work with Chris Evans. And all I can say is the Grand Tour, looking like it's going to be successful. Looking like it might sell a few Amazon Prime subscriptions.
Yeah, because let's be honest, it's starting to be even more tempting considering...
You're really quiet suddenly.
I've moved stuff around. It's starting to look even more tempting considering everything else they've thrown on. Yeah,
now Prime's actually got some meat to it. They're going, yeah, actually, that could be a viable option now. Because have they introduced a pay by month yet? Or is it still one yearly lump? Because that was the main thing that was putting me off. Because it's like 90 odd quid, but they wanted to pay it all up front.
I don't know if it's subscription yet, but I think that may be on the feedback forums.
Because that would be good if it was. Just saying. It would certainly make it a lot more of a viable option for me to consider it. Because at the moment, I'm very much no to Amazon Prime because it wants me to pay a big lump up front. And I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. Because I can't guarantee next year I'll have the money at that point. Whereas a small amount a month, yeah, you can budget for that. That makes sense.
Small yearly subscription like PSN.
Yeah, 40 quid a year, you can just about budget for that, yeah. Whereas...
just about budget, you forget it's coming out and suddenly you go, oh, what was that, 40 quid? Oh, yeah, PSN.
Yeah.
As I have done every single time now.
Really? Oh, yeah, no, I've been well aware.
PSN. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh, and in completely other news, our good friend Wardy recently had his first YouTube kind of death threat type thing.
Ew.
Yeah. He made a comment on a video and he got a reply of, go and die in a fire, faggot. And I was like, oh, really? So he gave a nice sarcastic reply and the chap's comment magically disappeared. But he was like making a comment going, well, I won't die in a fire, various reasons, yada, yada, yada. And then I made a comment to Wardy's going, no, you didn't read that right. There was no comma. He didn't say go and die... Oh, there was die in a fire homo, sorry. And it was like, he didn't say go and die in a fire homo. He said go and die in a fire homo. Now, I have no idea what this mystical fire homo is, or where you can find one. But apparently he wants you to get eaten by it. And what his reply was, I have no idea what a fire homo is either. Maybe it's some kind of Pokemon.
At this rate, yes.
That's what I said. I said, give it a couple of years, it probably will be. Oh, dear. Oh, I've just noticed the time. We have successfully waffled.
Well, this is the only downside of near the end of season when suddenly getting content is
Oh no, I had a lot to talk about Robot Wars and BattleBots apparently. I didn't even realise I'd gone on for quite so long. You should have stopped me if you had something to say.
Well, it was interesting. And also I didn't have anything to say, so...
And it also surprised me just how encyclopedic my knowledge actually is starting to become on Robot Wars. I'm beginning to worry myself.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
It's going to be fun though, watching the TV series and going, wait, I've seen you in real life. I know you. I know you. I know you. I've no idea who the fuck you are. I know you. I've seen you fight in real life. Awesome. It's like robots like Ripper and Manta I'm hoping will make it. I'm hoping some of the retro robots come back. I'm really hoping Behemoth returns, because Behemoth can hold its own with the bad boys nowadays. Behemoth has come out the retro robots category and is now with the main fighting robots. And I'd like to see Stinger return back on the main stage as well, but lack of active weapon, probably not going to. Yeah. But lots of new bloods coming. It's going to be exciting. But yeah, I think that should just about do it for Done and Dusted.
Indeed.
And with that, we should probably bring it to the end of the show.
Yes, we better.
So, with just 2 episodes left of Series 9, Episode 51 and Episode 52, that's just 4 hours of TigerTails Radio remaining.
If that.
If that, yeah, well, no, it'll be about 4 hours, 2 hours of show. Admittedly, technical malfunctions and delays notwithstanding, but yes. Around about 2 hours of TigerTails Radio, 4 hours of TigerTails Radio Season 9 remains. Good times. We must think of some kind of party for the final show. Have a little party. Might get a little bottle of cider or something just to toast the show out with.
Yeah, say goodbye to the show.
Goodbye, Season 9! You were fun! A little bit uneventful, but fun. We had Southpaw down, that was good fun. We had some fantastic Quiplash. And I've recently bought the Jackbox Party Pack on Steam sale. So now we have Quiplash XL, which is Quiplash plus the download that I downloaded, the free DLC which had the extra questions, plus over 100 new questions as well.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, so we shall see after. Well, that runs this on this laptop. Probably
Seeing
really
as
badly.
they're advertising Quiplash 2.
Yep, Quiplash 2 is on the way. If it's not already out.
God.
That was part of the
Yeah,
Jackbox
no.
Party Pack 3, I think.
I think it's still coming.
But if I can find a way of getting sound from the PS4 into this mixer, or even the PS3 version, if I get that, I will definitely be doing some Quiplash XLing using the console to run the game, because then I can use the laptop to play the fucking thing. Because that'd be nice. And it'd be much easier on the Switch box as well. I wouldn't have to keep worrying about the laptop and doing all the trading and things.
Yes.
And then we can get the sound coming out into the stereo to be mixed into the main show feed. That'll be fun. And we can actually have it running at the right speed, which would be nice. But that's all to worry about in Season 10. Right now, we've got to worry about closing off Episode 50 of Season 9.
Indeed.
So, join us next week, where we'll be myself and Xavier. Maybe an Alex, maybe a Hedgie, we'll never know. Or if anybody else wants to pop into the studio, come say hi, why not? We can all have a nice big debate together.
Yay.
Yay, it will be fun. But until then, it's a good night from the Xavier.
Good night, all.
And it's a good night for myself, TK. Thank you very much for listening to Two Old Guys Waffle. We will be back next week for more waffling and bullshit and shenanigans. But until then, it's night-night, everybody. Night-night.
Night.